The Big 12 just robbed the SEC. We went to Greg Sankey's vault and we said, excuse me, please, Mr. Sankey, can we have all of the money that you have in your conference, please? And he was like, shoot, that's not good. I guess I kind of have to give it to you. And the basis of this is the Big 12's performance, the Big 12's ability to overachieve in March Madness, and the SEC's relative underachieving year. Did you know that every year March Madness schools are given money for going to the tournament? Conferences are given money as well. And this year, the Big 12 was able to garner more per team than any other league in America. And not only did they do that, I want to go to Jeff Fuller, something that he has given us from this year's SEC versus Big 12 portion of the NCAA tournament. This is fascinating. Fascinating. He gives us that it seems as though these games were unfairly officiated. Might I give you Mr. Jeff's thoughts? He says, hate that refs' inconsistent whistle became so much the story in the national championship game. 11-1 foul disparity over the last 15 minutes. You and I have talked about this. We both agree it wasn't a very close whistle. I'm here to talk about money, right, and how we're robbing the SEC. I will in a second hold on to that. In the 5 SEC versus Big 12 Sweet 16 and beyond games. So what we're looking at, crunch time games late in the tournament between the Big 12 and the SEC. That is what we are keying in on here. And I'm going to explain to you how the Big 12 should have gotten more money than what they stole from the SEC. This should have been even worse for the Southeastern Conference, but was not. Back to our friend, Jeff Fuller. Fouls called against the SEC, 71. Fouls called against the Big 12 in those 5 games, 87. Points scored in the paint for the SEC, 118. 118 for the SEC, but 192 for the Big 12. So what I'm learning here is that the Big 12, who is going down low, playing well at the rim, actually going to the portion of the court where most fouls are called, they're not getting fouls called. But the SEC, who's playing up top, not going down low where the fouls are called. That conference, they had 16 fewer fouls called. That's weird. The SEC made the most of their free throws, Jeff says, going 86.2% over those 5 games compared to the Big 12, 76.3%. But in the cumulative foul shots taken in the first SEC 3 SEC versus Big 12 tournament games, it was Big 12 27 in 3 games, 27 combined. The SEC 70. Can you tell me free throws taken? SEC 109, Big 12 59. Can you tell me how the disparity is that large? This big bad SEC, who should be bullying, and when we use the term bullying typically implies there could be a foul called. When the SEC is supposed to be bullying all of America, why was the officiating so skewed toward that conference? And the Big 12 couldn't get to the free throw line. Weird. I know that we're considered a physical conference, but Houston's a physical basketball team. Like 4 of their players could play in the NFL. But as Jeff puts it, yes, the SEC had an amazing amount of teams and a lot of amazing teams that set some records this year as the best conference in recent history. But the eye test and game outcomes showed there were several other teams, non-SEC, who were on their level and just couldn't pull out the W's. And it makes you wonder, how could they not pull out the W's? Now, where's money involved? So I first want to tell you, we robbed the SEC, but we also got gypped. The Big 12 was also mistreated by the officials in this tournament. Sportico, so we'll go next. And who is reporting on this? Yes, our friend Jeff Fuller. He says, Big 12 teams brought in a cumulative $68.8 million via postseason play in football and men's basketball this year, $4.3 million per team. Now, we'll talk about this later in the week or next week. Texas Tech, $11 million. BYU, $11 million. The 2 highest earners, Houston, $10 million. Those are the 3 highest earners of this conference. Arizona State, Baylor, Iowa State follow suit. Schools like Cincinnati, Oklahoma State, UCF, and Utah accounted for 0. That's right. 0 units of the NCAA's money or any revenue from postseason play. That's football and basketball, the 2 revenue sports. Here's what Sportico tells us about conference payouts for March Madness in units. 35 units for the SEC. You had 14 teams, but you could only get 35 units. By the way, I know what you're wondering. Didn't the SEC get so much more money because Florida won the national championship? No, actually. You don't get more money for playing in the national championship or winning the national championship. That's it. Your units are capped. So if the SEC conference is the big bad conference because they won the national championship, from a monetary standpoint, you didn't get anything for that when it comes to the units given out in pay for March Madness. This $70 million for the SEC, $42 million for the Big Ten, and $40 million for the Big 12. So price per team, the Big 12, because they were able to upset SEC schools. The Big 12, because they were able to go deeper in the tournament with more teams than were expected. The Big 12 took that opportunity and made more money per team, took money out of the hands of the Big Ten, took money out of the hands of the SEC based on the way they overperformed in March Madness. America didn't want, I say America, the selection committee, the national media, ESPN, CBS, whoever, they did not want more than 7 teams from the Big 12 to be in March Madness this year, when West Virginia deserved to get in, when TCU and Kansas State had pretty good resumes, especially when you stack them up against Texas and Oklahoma or North Carolina, who all got to sneak in. Yet the league outperformed what it was expected to do. Schools like Baylor even getting upsets over SEC schools in the first round. Texas Tech getting past John Calipari and Arkansas. This league did more than it was supposed to do, and thus, with every win you get, namely against SEC teams, it puts the Big 12 in a better position because it gives the Big 12 money and it takes dollars out of the SEC's pockets. For Houston to go and beat Duke, we are taking money out of other conferences' pockets when we win games in March Madness. And the SEC getting 14 in, you understand that $70 million payday is strictly based on a volume of teams. If you put 14 Big 12 teams in, we would have made much more than $70 million based on averages. It is simple math that we're looking at here. The SEC did not provide the way it was supposed to. This was rigged for them to do better, rigged for them to make more money. And they said, no, instead, we're going to allow the Big 12 to do that. So the next time you turn on the TV and the SEC is so big and bad and everything that matters and every revenue sport, it's wrong. It's a tired narrative that is false. And the Big 12 deserves just as much respect, if not more. They made more per team in March Madness this year than any other conference. Case closed. This league, it just means more. Coming up, one of our teams just kind of stole from another one. Rob Wright, the BYU, Locked On Big 12, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. It is your team. I don't know if I told you this. It's every day. Today's show is brought to you by FanDuel. I go to FanDuel and I tear it up, actually. I had Houston alternate spread, which is good because the alternate spread at plus 4.5 hit. They only lost by 2. Wish they would have won, but I still won money on FanDuel. You can go to FanDuel today, and I bet you'll have a pretty good time. You know why I think you'll have a good time? Because your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if it wins. I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy. Don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com. Claim your $250 in bonus bets today. That is FanDuel.com. Go to FanDuel.com.